Hello everybody, and welcome to the YouTube page for the Dalton Condra Gift of Kindness Foundation. My name is Amy and I am Dalton's mother. I wanted to just give a brief story about the foundation, how it got started and why, and a little bit about Dalton. Dalton was my firstborn son. He was born in 1996. First grandchild on both sides, just an absolute joy. He was a really good baby. He was a very good kid. He really had a heart of gold from when he was little up until the day he died. He died at 26. Dalton did struggle with some addiction problems on and off since he was about, well, he smoked weed and whatnot when he was in high school, but he really found benzos when he was probably about 19 or so, and he became addicted to the benzos. He had a lot of depression and anxiety, like a lot of us have, and he just didn't know really how to deal with it. He did try medications that didn't work well for him, and then once he was labeled as an addict, we couldn't find a doctor that would really treat him with anything that worked properly. He had more social anxiety than anything, and had trouble being in any kind of large crowds. Anyway, he did pass away in November of 2022. He was at my parents' house in Ohio. I lived in Indiana at the time, and he had a great job. He was clean. He was doing good. He enjoyed his job. Um, we really thought, okay, he's on the right path now. He's doing really good. Um, he did not wake up for work. I talked to my dad, and Dad said, "Well, that's kind of weird. He's not up for work. He's usually always up by now and ready to go." So my dad went to wake him up, and I got a phone call about 10 minutes, 15 minutes later from my dad crying, telling me that my baby boy was gone. Um, After that, it's a very blurry memory. I remember calling his dad, who also lived in Indiana, and telling him, and we immediately all got in the car and went to Ohio. Dalton has 3 siblings. He has a brother and he has 2 sisters. And he has a niece and 2 nephews, um, all which really looked up to him. I mean, he was the cool kid. He was the oldest. He was funny. He just brought a light with him. And a lot of people will say, "Well, he's just an addict. He was just an addict." My son wasn't just an addict. My son, his name is Dalton. He was a person. He was a good person. He was smart. Yes, he had his struggles, but he helped anyone. He would give people the shirt off his back if they had no shirt. He really wanted to get better and work in the rehab center that helped him get clean, and he wanted to help other young people just like him. So that was his goal, and he had to be clean for 6 months in order to do that, and he was close. He was moving along to that goal. I don't know what made him do drugs that night in November. I don't know if he found some old drugs he had. I don't know if he bought drugs. I have no clue. All I know is that he died from fentanyl poisoning. The coroner told me it probably took about 3 seconds for him to pass out. And then a minute or two for his organs to all shut down. Um, we decided we wanted to start a foundation pretty early on after his death. It took a while to get the correct paperwork and figure out exactly what we wanted to do. But what we decided is that we wanted to help other people like he did. Um, you know, as a family, we obviously financially had to help Dalton. Thankfully, the rehabs, they sometimes needed a deposit or they would take payment arrangements. But when you went into sober living, you usually had to pay 2 weeks of rent up front, which when you're getting out of rehab, you have no job. Most have no money. So the family had to cover that. And so sober living is a really great thing. It's a step toward the right direction, and I think that once rehab is finished, sober living is the next step. But those who can't afford to get into sober living go back, and it's very easy to slip back into their old habits. Um, they don't have that structure. So we want to use the foundation to help people get into sober living or help people. You got to buy your own food. You got to pay for transportation back and forth to work or to the doctors. So we want to be able to help people do that, but we also wanted to do just some random acts of kindness because that's at the core who Dalton was. He would give his last dollar to someone on the street who was begging for money. And it doesn't matter if he felt they were legit or they were just begging for money to buy alcohol. He didn't care. He said they need it more than I do if they're on the street begging. So that's who he was. So that is what this foundation is for. And I hope you will follow this page, and um, we'll be recording events that we do. I really want to record some of the speeches that I go and do at schools and at rehabs and sober living places. We really want to make sure that a lot of people have Narcan. Narcan is an important thing to have. If you don't have it, you can contact your local health department. You usually can get it for free. You should carry it in your car. You should carry it in your purse. You never know when you're going to come by someone who may need it. We also would like to get people fentanyl testing strips because you don't know what's in the drugs nowadays. One pill can kill you. They are putting fentanyl in anything, cocaine, pills, even marijuana, and you won't know it until it's too late. And also, we want to spread the word that you should not be doing drugs alone, because my son did drugs alone that night. If he would have been with a friend or someone, they likely would have noticed that he passed out. He wasn't breathing. They could have Narcaned, possibly saved his life. But when you're doing drugs alone, there's no one to watch out for you, no one to watch your back. So please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't have another mother go through what I feel right now. Let's help each other. My son's name was Dalton. He was a good person. And I will continue to do good in his name until my last breath. You are all loved. You are all worthy. You can get better. You can defeat it. And it will be worth it.